on a Monday night, 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
And hey, I'm excited to be here.
The week off right.
We're starting the week off right. We're starting it off right. Just a little bit about me, native New Yorker. Been down here in the state of Georgia for about 13 years. My show actually started in radio going back about 7, 8 years ago. And then in 2011, I actually branched off on my own, started the Floyd Potts Show. And initially when I started off, it was primarily guests that were talking about things they were doing. It could have been authors. I had some actors on there, some directors on there. I think my biggest person I had on there was Rick Ross, the real Rick Ross. And then what I did, the real Rick Ross, when he got out, I had him on there. So then I decided to write a book in 2008. And in that book, I decided to deal with the topic that a lot of people want to know. And keep in mind, for your listening audience and everyone that's here, I can only speak from my experience in terms of why I cheated, but I also know that the reason why I cheated, a lot of men, I'd say millions of men, are out there cheating for the same reason. They're doing some of the same things.
Well, we want to hear, because Atlanta is notorious for, having more women than men. What is it?
23 to 1.
Okay, see, I was about to say 80.
23 to 1.
Because I think we read somewhere.
No, it's 20.
You take a drink of water on that.
No, well, the last time we did the research is 23
Okay, but that's still a lot.
Yeah,
23 to 1 is
We'll just
a
say
lot.
a lot of women to one man.
So they have a lot of options. And
They
therefore, they exercise those options. They go out and take advantage of those options. So, we want to know, what can I do? Or I hear a lot of women say, what am I doing wrong? Or, and I hear a lot of people say, women say, well, if you don't do it, another one will. So is that accurate? You know what I'm saying? Is it that we're not doing what we're supposed to do to keep you at home, or we're just gonna dive in, y'all? If we're not doing what we're supposed to do to keep you at home, or is it just that if you cheat, you cheat?
Well, let's say this. At the end of the day, it's still the individual who does cheat. Now, we know there are some women and there are some men who are not doing what they should be doing in a relationship, period, in terms of they're just not there support-wise. We know some people cheat just for support. Right. That cheating doesn't necessarily always have to lead to the Red Roof Inn. Sometimes it just leads to someone just, you know what I'm saying? Hey, just keeping it real.
Ritz-Carlton.
There you go to Ritz-Carlton. Upgrade. All right. Hey, upgrade. All right, Beyonce. All right, I'll be Jay-Z tonight. So, the Jigger Man. But, sometimes it's not about that at all. Yeah. Sometimes it's just about communication. But I want to go back to that number you said, 23 to 1, because I remember when I was in the military, I was actually stationed in Korea for a while. And it was funny because there was a time when I was stationed in England prior to Korea. In England, it was 55 women to every one man.
Wow.
That excluded ugly women, okay? So it was actually many more than that.
Wow.
Now,
oh, my goodness.
Now, conversely, Korea was actually probably 100 guys to every one woman. That included women that were straight, women that
single
were
women need to go, huh?
Well, you know what? A lot of women actually went over there and stayed for 2 or 3 years because they had it made over there.
Wow.
But I said this to say that I was in that environment 100 to 1, but I was still cheating. Mm-hmm. I was still dealing with more than one woman. Okay, and the reason for that is that the cheating, from the standpoint that I come from, deals primarily with the individual. Me, it wasn't about having a wife that wasn't doing what she was doing, because truth be told, the wife I had would walk through hell and back with me. The wife I had, she was behind me. She supported me. She was there for me tooth and it had nothing to do with her whatsoever. It had to do with me being the type of person at that particular time frame. And I chronicle this in my book. I go back from 1978, cover my life to 2004, where I had gotten out there, had gotten a gift, and that gift was something God gave me that I was supposed to use for good, but I took it and used it for bad. I had the gift of attraction. Even to this day, people see me, they look at me, they hear me speak, they expect me to come out with an accent when they see my hair, you know. But then when I started speaking, the first question is, where are you? Where are you from? This, that, and the other. Oh, I say I'm from New York. No, you can't be from New York. Where are people from? I say, okay, but father's from New York, mother's from Georgia. No, where are they from? Okay, mother's people from Georgia, father's people from New York. No, somebody's from somewhere in the West Indies. I said, no, I'm from here. So I always had that attracting. I was always a conversationalist. So women were always drawn to that and everything. And I took that and I took advantage of it. Now, initially, it was just a guy that was out there. I was 18, 19, late 70s, drawing women from that. But before it was all said and done, I was a full-blown sex addict. I was a full-blown sex addict, you know. And it was a situation where the cheating, after I really looked at it, wasn't so much cheating on just a wife, but I was cheating on myself because I was damaging myself sexually, physically, spiritually, mentally, and in some cases generationally, because I had sons, I had daughters. So they were looking at this. You see what I'm saying? It led to 2 divorces, right? 6 sons, 2 daughters later.
Wow.
Right? Now, those are in the confines of the marriages, right? But it wasn't until after all that and then having to lose a lot and then getting a second divorce and coming down here with my 3 youngest sons that made me step back and take a look at Floyd and ask the question, well, it wasn't these women, because I ran into some lovely women, not just from the standpoint of how they look, but intellectually. They had it together professionally. They were beautiful women through and through, yet I was not content with any of them. I was not content with any of them. And it was a cycle where it seemed like I would see them and was excited about them for the first 6 weeks. And then all of a sudden, after I did what I wanted to do, my agenda, which was an addiction, I got the drug, then all of a sudden I started down gearing. It was like narcissism. Did I start that discard phase? You know, and I start, you know, finding ways to spend less time with them because I was moving on to the next supply.
You were running. Look, that wasn't getting you high anymore.
It wasn't getting me high anymore. The fix, I had already had that fix, and it was like getting immune.
Let me ask you this, Floyd, while you're talking about that. In the process of you with your 6 weeks and being all into them and, you know, finally getting what you needed or what you wanted out of the relationship, and then you're down gearing to move on to something else, did that make the woman feel more attached to you and pursue you more and try to, you know,
clingy?
Yes, clingy, be more clingy, because she realized that emotionally and physically you had begun to start putting a distance between you.
It did, because she was chasing her shadow. You know, she was chasing her shadow and everything. And the way I did things, I did a discard, but I didn't do it in a way that a typical narcissist, because I found that's what I was dealing with as well during that time frame, because I thought I was God's gift to these women. That was my mindset. I was still suave and debonair with them. See, I was cutting them off in a smooth way.
Right.
So naturally, it would.
She was just like,
I was like, that's a real nice
in a smooth way.
way of doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
But everything was still on my time.
You weren't rude. You weren't obnoxious.
Wasn't
you
that?
still
Like,
just kind
Wasn't
of
that?
like, yeah.
Oh, I'd still take you out to dinner, but I wouldn't bed you anymore.
Right, I wouldn't take you home. Gotcha.
You see what I'm saying? Or if I did take you home, you wanted me to stay, I'd give you a kiss on the cheek, all that. Say, well, I got to. Now I'm being that gentleman, but in a very sneaky,
Cynical
snake
way.
way, because I'm being
Yeah.
a gentleman, because I know I've got somebody else waiting,
Right.
and I've got to hurry up and get away from here and get there.
but see, that in and of itself makes a woman feel like,
Oh, yeah,
I need to go harder, I need to do more.
Correct.
You know, it makes a woman start thinking, what am I doing different, or why is it that at first you was here for 6 weeks strong, now you've moved on, or now you've kind of started cutting back to a point where now I visibly notice, but I'm wondering whether or not it's me.
Right.
But you're saying it's not anything to do with the woman. It's solely to do with where you were at that point in your life.
Exactly, because it's just like drugs. You may start off smoking weed, but then after a certain point, the weed is not
not
that
gonna
potent,
get
so
it.
you may add some cocaine to the weed. And then the next thing you know, you're just dealing with cocaine, and then y'all don't take notes on this, right? I see you back there. And then the next thing, it keeps, you know,
Escalate.
you need something else for the high. So it goes from that one nice woman, then all of a sudden now it's this other what you think is a nicer woman, but they're all nice. And like you said, they're all saying, well, let me step it up. Let me go get the Victoria's Secrets, without understanding, sister, it has nothing to do with you.
Right.
It had nothing to you were beautiful when I met you. You're still beautiful. You were intelligent when I met you. You're still intelligent. There's nothing has decreased with you.
Right.
And
I think too, though, I guess I'll do a flip side of that, because I guess in one instance I can see where a woman would want to be, more clingy at that point. But then there's also those independent women who, when you start playing them to the left like that, their attitude is okay. Then they start shutting you down. Then I won't say what typically tends to happen, but you could get a sister that at some point where you think you're, I'm about to, then it's like they re-sparking you, because hold up, you're the narcissist.
Right.
So in your mind, you're like, hold up, I was easing off of you, and now you like, deuces?
Reverse it. Yeah.
Do what you do, boo. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then that actually kind of could start reigniting you to have to say, hold up, wait a minute. The reason I say that is because to me, for every how do I want to say this? I guess I can kind of look at it as like the boomerang effect.
Okay.
For every you, there's someone else that's just the opposite.
Okay.
And at the same time, I can see the clingy too, and may start to feel like, oh, it's something about them. But then the other narcissistic woman could be like, do what you do. It doesn't faze me.
Right.
Move on it. But then as you're given that body language, it could make him say, hold up, maybe, this is challenging to me, because by nature, aren't you guys the chasers? Don't you like the chase? Or does, when you're a narcissist and you're having addiction, that kind of overrides, the typical mentality of, I'm going to chase this because she's not that into me like I thought. You know what I mean?
Right. That's what most people do say, but you have to understand, the thing about an addiction, those that are addicted get very creative.
Okay.
And they also are predictable, but then when they see that they're easy to predict, they become unpredictable.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is this. There's a book called Art of War by Sun Tzu. And what worked for me in my book, I detail it. My best friend was the library.
Wow.
You see, so
Yeah.
so when I got a woman like that, right, I said, okay, all warfare is based on deception. So if she was going to be like that, like maybe she figured me out, I'd flip the script. But I wouldn't go away, though.
So it would be the two playing a game, basically,
Without her
right?
understanding, I would let her be convinced that she was actually winning.
Yeah, playing the game.
But
Because-
how do you know she really isn't?
Well,
Because everybody has a match.
everybody has a match. The way I knew she wasn't is because this is all I did.
Okay, that's
So I was
fair.
a, so
people.
you
That's
see,
a fair
so I was a
assessment.
great read of people. I was a great read of your. Like I said, I had a gift. I still have that gift. I'm a great read of people. I'm a great read of their inner self. So I would see. I studied in the beginning everything they like, because the thing about with that type of addict that I was, what I did is in the beginning, for me, it was all fact finding.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? It was fact finding, find out everything you like, whether you told me or not. You see, because there were some things you would tell me, and then there were some things that I would observe.
Okay.
You see?
Yeah.
So now when you go to play that game, I would then come up with something that I know you like that you never told me. So now what happens? I'm stroking your ego.
You're right. Oh,
You see what I'm saying? I'm
Who
stroking.
can play that game?
Right, right, right.
That's what it reminds me
Yeah,
of. You know what I'm saying?
I'm stroking your ego.
It reminds me of
Yeah,
the two. Hold on.
Right.
She done switched the
Yeah,
game.
yeah.
Now it's time for you to do
I'm
the switch.
stroking your ego. Right. I'm stroking your ego.
Okay.
Made
So
me think of what's the movie with Queen Latifah?
Well,
I'm
see,
thinking about the one
oh.
with Queen Latifah where the girl was what's the girl's name that was studying the basketball player? With
Oh,
Pop.
Just
Yeah,
Right.
Just
Oh,
right.
Just
It makes me
Right,
think of that, how you
yes.
take your time to study
Right.
because you have an ultimate goal.
Right,
And so
right.
now it's just like preparing for a job. You're doing the things you need to do in order to get the ultimate prize.
It's
which
a
is
lot
the
of
return.
energy and a lot of
Okay.
work. That's all I'm
But
gonna say.
keep in
There's a
mind-
lot of
But if
energy.
that's something,
But
but,
yeah,
but
yeah.
keep in mind,
Second
it's an
nature.
I
addict.
agree. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Keep
And
in
I
mind,
know
it's an
addict,
addiction.
right,
It's just
right.
like the crackhead
Right.
on the street that will do whatever
to get that
to get
fix.
that fix.
Get that fix.
The gambler will
Yeah.
do whatever to get that money so I can place You see, that the alcoholic will do whatever
Yeah.
to get that bottle. Exactly.
really is.
So it became, and it was funny because I used to call it technique number 3 because after a while, I mean, I laugh at it now. But
No, but I know
it's
exactly
sad
what you
because a
mean.
lot of
Yes,
people got damaged.
Got hurt
But a
from
lot
it.
of my
Yeah,
friends, and I talk about in the book, a lot of my friends wanted to hang out with me to go to the club because they knew that there was a lady, and remember my references in the last book, there was a lady that played hard to get. I used to love that type. But the only problem, I used to say later on, she was hard to get rid of. Because the thing is that she would play hard to get.
deep,
She was standoffish, and everybody would approach her the wrong way. But I always had the right approach. I let them do whatever they were doing and let her reject all of them.
Yeah, the technique down.
You see? And then I would go and whisper in her ear. If we were at a club, they would say, come on, let's dance. She's telling them no all night. I would let all that go by, and I would go by and say, may I please have a dance? How could she say no to that? Most women got up, they, please, may I?
Yeah.
You know, and I got up there, and sometimes I may even wear my wedding ring. And
Because you know that's more
Yeah,
attractive
that
works.
to a woman in Atlanta. Serious.
Well, see, now I was in New York. I was in New York.
I think it's just
now,
a
when I got here,
everybody.
now, when I got here, I changed.
It's everywhere. Yeah.
Well, no, the reason I say
When
that.
I got here, I changed.
Yeah.
Because I
But
changed when I
Atlanta,
got
they're
here.
big for that. Like women love
Yes,
to feel
they
like
really
they're
do.
taking away
Like they're
something.
taking now,
Yeah.
and that's
ego too.
that's everywhere. But when I got here, that's when I actually stopped. I got here in 2004.
Okay.
Because the thing is, truth be told, when I got here, everybody was saying it's 23-1. I said, well, in England it was 55-1.
Right.
And when I got out of the military, I was in D.C. So it was even more. So,
you done did
so when I
these
got so when I
statistics.
got so when I got to Atlanta, this 23-1 didn't mean anything to me. I said because I already been there. As I said, when I was in Korea, it was all these guys versus 1 or 2 women, but I still had 12 or 6 women I was dealing with. It was rough for all the other guys. It wasn't rough for me.
Right.
Because once again, those women, they were playing the game. They were playing hard to get. That worked right up the addict's alley. Because you know what I would do? I would ignore them. All the other guys are sweating.
Right.
Yeah.
But they see me in the corner, I'd be in there dancing by myself. They come over there, they want to dance with me.
Right.
I said, no, I'm cool for right now. No woman wants to be rejected. So I said, well, I'm gonna go stand over here. And then the way I would really mess with them is I go dance with a Korean woman. The sisters would be fuming. As I'm leaving the club, now they come, they want to argue. Next thing I know, I got 2 or 3 numbers and a one-night stand.
Wow. Wow.
Because all warfare is based on deception. So when I was out there as an addict, I had all this in my head. When I first went to college, I was a psychology major. So I studied the human mindset, but I misused all of it during that time frame. I'm thankful I'm still alive. That I'm you know what I mean? I didn't catch any disease. I got blessed while I was out there because I should have been dead a lot of stuff.
That's true.
You know, because I messed with a lot of people's wives, and there were times when I really didn't care that the husband knew. So I got covered. I got
Right.
covered.
That's some
Got
grace
the
right
right
there.
husband.
Yeah.
And trust me, I did get 1 or 2 of the right husbands. I got out of there before he can get what he needed to get. But I was faster than he was. Speedy Gonzalez. But
Gonzalez for real.
oh, Ricochet Rabbit, you know what I mean?
She said,
But bing, 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 you know. But I,
What'd you say, hey, Louis?
yeah. So I was just forcing it. But in all of it, as I said, it wasn't until I got here as a single dad and I had my 3 youngest sons, and I said, well, yeah, these sons were they knew about stuff I was doing before. They only heard. But now it's just me here, and their mom is up in Pennsylvania, of the 3 youngest. They've got their eye on me. I've got to do a little bit different because now the raising of them is a little bit more focused.
Right.
It's just one parent.
Right.
So everything that one parent does, and these are 3 men that I was raising. You know, it was my youngest at the time was 6. I had a 6-year-old. I had one in the 7th grade and one that was in the 9th grade. Now, the youngest one just graduated from high school last year, and the one right above him graduated from Alabama State in December.
Oh, that's great.
That's your alma mater? Get out of here. It's a Hornet, yeah. So he graduated, go Hornets.
In the house.
Yeah, in the house all day long. So he graduated from ASU. So it gave me a different, my priorities had to change.
Definitely.
Yeah, I was here with 23 women, every one man, a lot of lovely women, but my priorities had changed because I couldn't now come here with them and say, well, I'm going to keep doing this. Doing that had already broke up 2 marriages. Doing that had caused them to now have to decide which parent they wanted to live with. They came with dad. So now I could not then just continue to take them, now my seed, and as opposed to putting fertilizer on my seed, I could not get them down here and put strychnine on them.
Right.
You know,
That's
so I had to look at self and ask what was the issue, and that's when I first started realizing. And that's why the title of the book is Why Your Man Will Not Stop Cheating Until He Does This. Because this is first acknowledging that there's a problem.
Yeah, amen. I think that's the key
With
to
any
everything.
type of addiction,
Yes.
Anything.
Yes.
There's a problem.
But I find it ironic
It's a
too,
problem.
like in your. It's funny how you end up in a city that is so tempting, and you know, as
And
far
that's
as the
where
world
you stop.
for you to get
Right.
redeemed, which means you really are redeemed.
Right.
God has a sense of humor. God has a sense of humor. That's what I say.
Yes,
God
he
has a
does.
sense of
You know,
humor.
and for you to have your mindset. So, what were the steps that you had to take in order? I know that first, of course, is admitting that you know that you have an issue,
correct.
and then how did you go from there, being in a city of temptation?
Well, hold on. Before you answer that, we're going to take a break. 'Cause
Okay.
We've been talking for a minute, and Floyd jumped right into it. He kind of
It
was
was
he
good,
did
I
it.
know, right?
770-415-2149. Call in. We would love
Yeah,
to
tell
have
them
your
we're
question.
giving away some Spartan Georgia
Oh, we
Spartan
can-
season pass tickets. Call in and
right.
get
Did
your
you hear that?
tickets.
Get some tickets. See,
Yes,
even better. Call in.
yes.
We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. Listening to Hot Wife, Hot Life, and we are having a great show with our guest Floyd Potts. He is telling us why your man cheats and why they will not stop until they do this. And he's going to tell you what the this is, maybe. a little bit, because you have to purchase the
get
book.
the book.
You got to get the book.
Exactly.
But A Fox you were asking him a question before we went to commercial.
Exactly. Before we went to commercial, he was explaining to us how, after being in that cycle and having the addiction, and then you moved here to Atlanta, and I was telling you, okay, so for you to have to tackle that kind of addiction in a tempting city, the first thing you said is that you admitted you had the problem.
Right.
And then how did you go into transitioning to finally say enough is enough and I've just got to stop?
I think the thing was, once again, naturally for me, the first step was the acknowledgement of it. Mm-hmm. And then the second step was continuing after that to look at self.
Yes.
Because acknowledging, saying, okay, I've got a problem is one thing. So now you have to ask yourself, well, how did I get here in the first place?
Yes.
Where did this problem come from? I try to look at where it started at, because I went back my whole life trying to find out, well, where did it start at? And I know for me, it started where I was a young man who was very, very shy prior to getting a job on Wall Street right after high school, in between college.
Wow.
I had a Jewish guy by the name of Stuart Millman. He was my mentor in 78. So when I came out of high school in 78, he got me a job on Wall Street. Now, keep in mind, Wall Street in 78, there weren't that many blacks on Wall Street. I was one of two in the firm that I was with.
Wow.
Okay, and I was in the E.F. Hutton building. Everybody knew who E.F. Hutton was.
Right.
Exactly. One Battery Park Plaza. Exactly. When E.F. Hutton speaks, everyone listens.
Everyone
Right.
listens.
So we had the 17th floor that Prescott Ball and Turman was the firm that I was with and everything. So I was there, and all of a sudden I went from being a shy guy who was actually, a lot of girls liked me, but I didn't know how to approach them and everything. So the first step was, years later, was first acknowledging there was an issue. The second step was now trying to look at how did the issue grow in the way that it did. Had to understand where was the seed, where was the root, because unless you pull a root up, you can always have the issue.
That's true.
Amen.
Okay, you have to deal with the root. And the root was first, it was low self-esteem. It was low self-esteem, So all of a sudden, what was a pseudo fix for that low self-esteem? All these women.
Feeding your ego.
Feed my ego.
Yeah.
Wow.
Feed my ego.
But that's good to get to the
That's
understanding that is the root cause. To
I don't
go
want
back,
you to give away too much, because I know a lot of the underlying
You don't want me to give away
reasons,
too much?
No, I want them to
Come
buy
on,
the
we gonna end the
book.
show now?
I
So,
want them to buy the book.
they
You know
like,
what I'm saying?
stop.
I want
They
you to,
like,
you
no,
know,
don't
yeah,
stop.
but don't stop. But you know what I'm saying.
but
You
so
had some other stuff.
So I'm just giving the steps, because trust me, there's a lot more in the book that I have not covered. I didn't cover on any. Truth be told, when I first wrote the book on my own show, I did a series on the book on my show, but I still didn't cover everything. Now the book, it's a very small book. It's only 31 pages.
Oh wow. Okay.
It's a very small
that's
book.
some meat.
It's a very small, exactly. It's the type of book you can read it over and over and over again, because every time you read it, you're going to get a different nugget out of it.
Amen.
Okay.
Yes, good.
And the book, as I wrote it, I actually dedicated it to couples so they can understand, mainly for the woman to stop beating herself up. And then to the men to understand that in the forward, I say that, a lot of my friends, they would cheer me on, had maybe one or two who pulled my coattails, say, hey, this is not. But for men to also understand that the saying that, well, this is what men does, is wrong.
Right.
Because we get trapped into that, especially black men. Melanated brothers, because we have something that's coming from slavery that so many of us were used as studs in books. So as we've gone on here, we're still psychologically and spiritually damaged in that we're still thinking that we're studs in bucks. You look at how we raise our children. Okay, this is still staying with the steps. That if we've got a young daughter, we're promoting education with her. See what I'm saying? A man better not come around her. A boy better not come around her. However, with our young males, by the time they're 8, we got them in maybe 5 or 6 sports. By the time they're 13, we want to know if they got a girlfriend.
Right.
We're not concerned about their grades. All we're concerned about is that they have at least a 2.4 so they can get in any D1 school. And that they do so-so on the SAT. You see what I'm saying? And how many girls you got chasing you.
Yeah.
You see, so
I mean,
we
that's
set them up for
realistic.
failure.
That's extremely realistic at what society is dealing with now.
We set them up for failure. This is why you do have so many sisters right now that are working on PhDs, And a lot of us brothers are still trying to wrap up an associate's
That's
degree
right.
You are so
That's
right.
right.
in our
That's true.
50s.
That's
Yes.
right.
Wow.
And
Because of
That's real.
the long-lasting
right.
effects of that, you know, like
Right.
you say, from slavery times to still
To now.
now, and
Right.
you would think that at some point in time, the cycle would be broken, but it hasn't. We're still caught up trying to figure out how to get out.
And the biggest thing to,
It's spiritual.
you know, like you said, for the black man is that we look at it as
Spiritual.
that they are these, you know, powerhouses of just, you know, sports dominance.
Physicality.
Yeah, we don't even look at education
Right.
or brains, you know, period.
But that's how they were viewed.
And we were the
as
creators
physical,
of all of
physical
these
specimens.
things.
You know,
That's
you wanted
right.
the broad
Strongest
back,
buck.
the strongest
That's
buck.
right.
That's
The
right.
strongest-
Because
the
you felt
strongest
like
buck.
that was going to give you your best return on investment.
That's
That's
true.
right.
Right.
So now everything that, because I, you know, was told, you know, when you deal with guys who play sports in the locker rooms, you know, they go in and they look at these men and say, "Man, look at that guy there.
Yeah.
Look how
Oh,
big
yeah.
he is." You know, and it's just like having them on display.
It is.
You know, and
Yeah.
a lot of times people don't tend to think that, wow, you know, that is putting you in a pigeonhole because it's making it about your physical self as opposed to what else you're bringing to the table.
That's right.
So what do men look for? We look for the physical in a woman, because we come up with just physical being stressed. You know, how fast did he run to 40? How many points did he drop last night? Can he knock somebody out? We do nothing regarding the mindset, but with our women we do. So what happens? For the man, everything is physical. So then as we start getting older, we become this so-called jock. We got all the women, white, black, green, whatever, that are following us, that are after us. So we'll drop 30 points and then go sleep with 3 women, and we're damaging ourselves. We twist our leg. All of a sudden, we lose our scholarship.
Right.
We have no plan
No
B.
backup
So
plan.
what do we fall back on? Still
woman,
womanizing.
a woman.
We become, in some cases, new word, a hobosexual.
Right.
I didn't say a homo. I said a hobosexual. You know what a hobosexual is?
Yeah.
That's deep.
Laid
I like
up.
that. I like
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Huh?
That's a
Okay.
caller.
All right. We have a caller. We're gonna take the call.
So is there anybody on our phone line that wants to say something? You're listening to Hot Wife, Hot Life.
Hi, you're on the air. Can you hear us?
Okay, so they just
They got
probably
it mute.
listening.
They may be listening. Yeah.
Yeah, just tuned in. Yeah, they just
Oh,
were
there we
tuned
go.
in. That's okay. That's okay.
Could have
They
been
can
Russia.
still see it. Okay.
Could have been Russia. It's
I
Putin.
do see on our Facebook Live, I just wanted to do a shout out to Tiffany. Hi, Tiffany, and hi, Pastor Ken Lauren. He's on as
All
well.
right, Pastor
yeah.
Lauren. Hello.
Pastor gonna preach my sermon next Sunday. Pastor, I want my love offering if you preach my sermon.
Let me tell you, and he's on it too, because they have
Preach
a
my
powerful
sermon.
testimony as well. But we were talking even during the break, and I was saying how it is so funny because everybody also looks as men as just naturally they want to cheat and this and that.
Right.
But I was telling him it's been my experience that a lot of times men don't want to cheat. To be honest with you, a lot of times women are aggressive. And they will wear them down until they can't be worn down anymore. So let me tell you, I always say that there's levels to this.
Okay.
So when we talk about athletes and different things like that, and we get into the subject of, you know, it's so hard, they're never going to be faithful. Well, let me tell you how difficult it is for an athlete or a star to be faithful. So we're talking about they find their lady love and they love that stability and that security. And they're so proud of the fact that they bring home the bacon and take care of their family. But what tends to happen on that level, okay, and I'm not dissing anybody because, you know, I'm a plus size diva. So,
No.
right. So I'm not saying, you know, anything as it relates to that, but they get the creme de la creme, okay? You're talking about the baddest.
Right.
Bodies banging. You know, again, these women that study these brothers, they know what you
Right,
like.
exactly.
So you're talking about hundreds. We ain't talking about 1 or 2
Right.
up in the
Hundreds
A.
of groupies.
Right.
Exactly.
Then when you bypass those groupies, you got the ones that made it to the door.
Right.
Eventually, it just wears them down. Not everybody is waking up. A man is waking up one morning just wanting to cheat. And then we can talk about other issues with infidelity as well. Because what I don't want people to think is that men are just out there doing wrong and doing this and that. There's also situations that are caused by two. There's a root cause to everything, and it does not always exist in just your insecurity. You could be married to a straight up just a difficult chick, you know what I'm saying, who never wants to give you any kind of give you accolades, and you're trying to hold on, and then guess what? Then the sweet one come around, she can tell you everything you need to hear. You know what I'm saying? Time and an opportunity could cause that particular interaction. So there are reasons and behind everything. You just have to know what it was and be honest with yourself, because then there are the brothers that's just greedy. They just want what they want.
That's true.
Yeah,
and some selfish people.
Some like that, and I think the ones I think you find a lot of times are greedy are the ones who are not used to. I'll put myself there. I became greedy because coming up in Brooklyn, New York, I had many friends who had already had experiences with girls at 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So now here I am there. Still a guy, so now all of a sudden at 19 I became the greedy one, because now all of a sudden I'm the kid in the candy shop, and all the candy's being thrown at me. The 2-for-1 candy back in the days is being thrown at me. I became greedy.
Depending on the person, it does become addictive, because it's like, oh my God, and especially
how do I say
when
no?
You deal and when you deal in insecurity from the beginning, you never felt self-worth, and then all of a sudden your mouthpiece
I'm the man, I'm the man.
You know, anything you say, you know they're gonna hold on to that. But it's so scary too at the same time, because I tell people sometimes that kind of influence and that it's so powerful. You have to be responsible with it. Otherwise, you do kind of have their lives in your hands, so to speak. And if you're not, mature about that, you could wreck a lot of lives and yourself. And I think ultimately, when you look at the bigger picture and you stay focused on that, it kind of will keep you grounded. Humility is huge in these kind of situations, because you'll be saying, okay, well, they did say I'm super fine. Well, okay. You try not to let it, it ain't going to go to my head. I mean, just a little bit.
And the thing about it.
Well, like you said, you got hundreds of women.
Right.
Yes.
Hundreds of women every night after night, city after city.
Right.
At some point, it is going to go to your head like, I'm the man.
Right. And even if when you try to,
Yeah, because going back to what I was saying earlier, there were times I would go to the club, I had my wedding ring on, and I had no intention whatsoever to cheat. But I was deluding myself. And I tell you why I was deluding myself. I would go there, I would get a few dances, and they would see the ring, and they say, oh, that's nice. I say, yeah, I'm married, I'm just here, just, with the guys, and we're just cooling out, and we're going to do our thing. They loved it. They said, oh, your wife is so lucky. I said, well, no, I'm also lucky. Oh, next thing I know, we're in the car. And I forgot. I mean, because the ego keep getting stroked. The ego keep but see, they're smooth with it though, because they
know what they
oh,
do.
this is so nice. She's so lucky.
I believe that they're code words for that. People,
absolutely,
they're trying to see where you're at. I don't care what nobody say. They know
people
little
try
things
to break it down
ask.
simply because you think about somebody like the relationship. What made me think was the addiction you talked about with Halle Berry and Eric Benet.
Right.
So you think of a woman coming in and say, okay, you're supposed to have the best of the best. What can I do? Because it makes you feel accomplished to go in and get somebody like that based on the fact that you have this person over here, but you still choose to be with me. Right. So it's powerful on both ends. It's powerful for the man to get the woman, but for the woman who is setting herself out to break down the man in order for him to go ahead and take her to bed. It's another agenda also.
It is. It is.
Just like
and
you
that's
said,
why I
it's
say
about
y'all
the-
going code for code.
Exactly.
Slick about it.
It's the chase, like you said. It's the chase on both ends.
They'll say something, you'll always mention your spouses, but then they'll say something that you'll just see just a little window, and you know how to leave a window. You know how you can shut a brother down, just point blank, period.
Right.
With all that, your whole posture can be like, I love my husband. Thank you.
Exactly.
But we'll be like, oh yes, he is. He's lovely.
Right,
that kind of thing. We know.
And see, I've had that type too.
Yeah.
That I love my husband and this, that, and the other, and then 3 years later we're still in a relationship. Yeah. So because
3 years.
Well, you know what?
3 years later.
But seriously, I know a lot of relationships like that.
Exactly.
Because let me say this. Because once again, for me during that time frame, that was that one that played hard
To get.
to get.
What you say? She hard
So
to
you
get
know
rid
how?
of.
So you know how I got to her? You know how I got to her?
How?
I met a husband.
Wow.
I became a husband's boy.
Wow.
So I'm around the husband all the time.
Wow.
Right. I met a husband.
I was like,
Remember, right. All warfare is based on deception. So I met the husband. So I'm around the husband. So she's seeing how great of a guy I am with the
Right,
husband.
right,
Let's go
right.
play
Yeah.
ball. Yeah. So now next thing you know, when the husband's not around, she
Right.
says to me, "Why are you around? You're wrong." And then I said, "No. I mean, it just he's a good guy. I'm just hanging out." Next thing I know, we're going to sit just to have some food because she wants to talk about the so-called friendship I have with the husband. I didn't care about a friendship with a husband. You were my goal. You didn't understand what you were dealing
Right.
with. So you thought you had that person outsmarted. But once again, you were dealing with a person whose best friend was not a woman, but the library.
Yeah.
And when you take a person and all they do is study humans and read, it doesn't matter what you come up with. Now, make no mistake, there were a set. They wouldn't pay any attention to me whatsoever. I moved on real quick because there were some sisters who were sharper than I was.
Okay.
They weren't players. They were sharper. And they said, this brother here, he's a little bit too smooth up here in the club.
See, that's what I was going to ask
He's
you.
a-
Have you ever
Little bit too
met
smooth.
you
Match,
felt
yeah,
was
yeah.
your match?
What I met wasn't so much a match. It's just I met that one that I went and had that dance. We got the dance, and I said one or two things, and she was kind of standoffish. And then I asked myself, I looked at her and I thought, and her energy, and I said, is she worth my time tonight when I got these three over there that are eyeballing me all night?
Wow.
And I would look,
So
and
she was gonna be worth. Is
and I-
that what you're saying?
well, she was going to be too much
Yeah.
work. And I remember I was in England one time, and I was dancing with a guy's wife. And I'm on the floor with her all night dancing. He's on the side, and it was a white girl. White girl was over in the corner.
They like,
One time, sisters, with a white girl. She's looking at me
Well, we
all
knew you
night
had
long.
fast.
You know what I mean? She's looking at me all night long. So when I was done dancing with this sister and got her number, her man didn't even know. He just told me to go and dance. I was like, cool, you don't know what you're dealing with here. Got her number. I went over to the white girl and I said, are you ready to go? She said, that's all you're going to say? I said, what else is there to say? You've been looking at me all night. Let's just head outside.
Wow.
And she went outside.
Wow.
okay, so I just want to know before we wrap up, did you get caught ever?
No.
Wow.
Really? Not by any women or any husband?
Did you do the telling?
My first wife, I told her.
Okay.
And the reason why is because she got suspicious. She never called me. She just got suspicious. And what I was doing, I was hiding my numbers in an old bank envelope. My numbers, and I had condoms. Where I kept my tire in the car.
She definitely wasn't going there.
I know.
No, she did go there. No, she did though. What happened? I went to run.
Oh, she had
I went to run. I came back. She was in the house. Her ring wasn't on. And I said, something's not right. And she said, let me ask you a question. And she pulled it out. She said, what's this? So now there was a letter in there, right? This is what I said. I said, come on. Because I told one young lady my name was Alex, right? So there was a picture in there. Young lady had clothes to Alex. So I said, come on, sweetheart. You know Alex. I'm holding this for him.
Got it. That was good. That was
Slick.
I said, I'm holding all. I said,
I'm gonna feel like, well, Courtney, don't be in there taking notes. I'm telling.
poor guy. I want my cut from the CD. I want my cut from the CD. They put the CD together. Yeah, if I see this on the Players Club, I know where the CD came from.
Oh my God.
If I see you out there with a Huggy Bear hat.
So you got the right
But
one.
but that was the closest I came and everything. Now, I divorced her 3-4 years later. In my reasoning, I told her that she deserved better because I kind of had a hint then there was something wrong with me. That was 88. I turned around, we divorced her and got married again and was married 16 more years the second time. Wow. But at that point, I kind of had an idea because I couldn't have had a better wife. She was that Proverbs 31. That's what she was. That's what she was. And to this day, she and I are cool because I apologized to her and I apologized to the second one and everything. I mentioned them in the book, but I apologized to them and I made it clear to them it had nothing to do with you.
Amen.
This was all me being a messed up person at the time.
Are you
everything.
married now?
No, not now.
Okay.
No, I'm not married now. No. But I do look forward.
Did you hear what I told him? I know he got great work ethic. Because, bro, you had to lay down all the foundation. Root cause. Studying psychology.
That's why I do self-help now.
Yes, that's awesome.
Because I studied it.
Yeah.
And like I said in the beginning, I took a gift that God gave me and I misused it.
Yeah.
And at the end, God said, Jonah, now I can spit you out of the fish.
That's right, and turn it
You
around
get
for
it.
good.
You
Amen.
get it now. You
Amen.
get it. That I didn't give you that for that.
Amen.
I allowed you to be a shy person for a reason. And my timing, I was going to bring you out. But you chose to bring yourself out. I always say, I know we're toward the end, that there are two people. There's the one we create, and then there's the one God creates.
Amen.
And a lot of times, the one we create is the one that does all the damage.
Right.
And eventually, we come to ourselves, whether it's the prodigal son, you know what I'm saying? Most times. And when we finally look at the person that God created, that's when correction comes. That can come at a 56. That can come for some people at a 26.
That's right.
For some people, it can come at a 76. But make no mistake. Make no mistake.
It's gonna come.
Life,
Full circle.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
you don't escape this.
Awesome,
Amen.
awesome. Please tell us where to get your book, where to find you, your show, everything.
Beautiful. It's still available on Amazon.com. They can pick it up on Amazon.com. Okay. So as I said, it's a quick read. It's only $14.95. My show is Blog Talk. I am the Floyd Potts Show. I air every Wednesday night, 6:30 p.m. on the East Coast. That's East Coast time in the United States of these here Americas. I'm still here. Trump is not getting me out.
Amen.
Listen, I just want to say, too, thank you, ladies. Man, this has been a joy.
Yeah, thank
And
you
I'm
so
really
much. Great
thankful.
information.
Thank
Yes.
you. I hope it helps. I hope it helps.
It does. It really does.
I hope it helps. I hope
A
it
great
helps.
perspective,
It's not
a great
about you.
breakdown from the root cause to the alias to everything in between.
To the whole nine.
And for all of y'all taking notes, that wasn't what this show was about.
Exactly.
It was helping
Don't
us.
be using Alex.
Some have taken notes. Some have taken notes. Yeah. Look at him smile. Watch him. Watch him.
Awesome.
But,
Well, definitely we appreciate you being on the show. I mean, it was so good, so much good information that really we probably would need you to come back.
We do,
another
yeah.
time.
thank you. I would be
Get
honored.
back into
I would
it.
be honored. I would be honored. I would be honored.
So definitely you all, he has given you the information. Go to Amazon and get that book and read it and pick up what you need out of it and then put it down and go back and read it again because it's just that much good stuff in there. This is, again, the Hot Wife Hot Life show on 108 Praise Radio. We are on Instagram and Twitter at _Hot Wife Hot Life. We're also on Facebook at Hot Wife Hot Life, and then you can check us out on our website, which is www.hotwife-hotlife.com. So definitely shout out to all the ladies who joined us this past weekend for our
Oh,
brunch and bun.
yes.
So
Yeah,
much
yeah, me and my
fun.
mate.
Yeah.
So stay tuned. Check out our page. We are going to be doing a 21-day challenge coming up here. I believe we're going to start the 11th of March.
Okay.
So that will be something really good to get into. If you are
Yes.
interested, definitely, you can email us at info@hotwife-hotlife.com to get more information on the 21-day challenge of loving me and my mate. So again, thank you so much for tuning in, and we hope to see you again, same time, same place next week.
Bye. Good
Bye.
night.
Good night.
Good night.